But I think it's kind of funny to hear, the president, talk the way he does about Bolton and classified information. Yet when he had the classified information, the same rules didn't apply. Donald Trump sees himself as the person who gets to decide everything. And he doesn't care about any separation. In fact, he absolutely rejects the idea that there should be separation between criminal investigations and the politically elected leader of the United States. This is much different than it's ever been run before. But look, let me say candidly to the American people who are watching, you were told this. You were told that this was what he was going to do, and not by me, by Donald Trump during the 2024 campaign. He told you he was going to do this, that he was going to have a Justice Department that acted as his personal legal representation.
Yeah, what Chris Christie says there is all true. I think he could go even further, but he's right. Donald Trump does think that he can meddle in all of this, and every personal little issue he has, every way that Trump gets triggered over any comment he doesn't like, immediately turns into a potential case against the people that so angered him. That's how emotional he is. And so that video that you just saw is going to be another example of that process, because instantly Donald Trump ran to Truth Social. I should say he continued sitting on the toilet. He took out his phone and he started posting on Truth Social saying, "I just watched sloppy Chris Christie be interviewed on a ratings challenge news show this week with George Slopadopoulos." And let me just pause there. You can't do sloppy for both. That's lazy, dude. Is your mind going, well, I get you want to call Chris Christie sloppy. How is George Stephanopoulos sloppy? The dude's very well put together, has a nice suit, much nicer hair than you've ever had. His hair is his actual hair, buddy. You don't get to call him sloppy. Also, you're a physical mess. Do you know what you look like when you appear on TV and you're calling people sloppy? The makeup on your hand is sloppy. That's what's sloppy, buddy. But anyway, he goes on to say something, the $16 million settlement they did. Then he talks about the closure of the George Washington Bridge and all that. And he implies that he might investigate Chris Christie now for that. For the sake of justice, perhaps we should start looking at that very serious situation again. No one is above the law, except me, of course. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. So he didn't like it, and so now he wants to investigate Chris Christie. Again, a former political enemy of his should go and rot behind bars or whatever. He then goes on to say, because he's so mad that he saw, like in the same way that people who get angry every time they go on Twitter and I tell them you need to stop going on Twitter, Trump, for your own sake, because you're this easily triggered, stop watching TV for the love of God. But he sees it and he says, ABC and NBC, they should perhaps have to pay millions of dollars in license fees or just lose their license, because he doesn't like them, because radical free speech meant as much as supposedly believing in states' rights and all that. They never meant any of this concern over tyrannical government. They never meant any of it. They just wanted their guy in the Oval Office to trample over all of our rights. And so maybe soon ABC and NBC won't exist anymore because they brought on a person that said something politically incorrect. What do you think, JR?
I mean, this has to be 105 of the things that he promised that then as we're going towards, people are just shrugging their shoulders. Again, bro, and I know there's nobody to convince of this anymore. This morning, the guy said some people want a dictator, and this is what he's talking about. If anybody refuses to acknowledge these dictatorial moves, as he keeps talking about he's gonna defund and take licenses away unless you're his propaganda channels, what else is it? What else is it? And many of the people who didn't want people to talk about this are ignoring this. They won't even bring it up because it's too embarrassing to say, you know what? I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. There would be gulags. I'm sorry, I was wrong. There would be the military takeover of our cities. I'm sorry, I was wrong. He's gonna be revoking license. I'm sorry, I was wrong. He's gonna be going towards universities and colleges. I'm sorry, I was wrong. His mass deportation had nothing to do with that. I'm sorry, I was wrong. The crime that he said is only committed by black folks in this country, so I can then go after those minorities as well. He's actually doing, all of it was a lie. I'm sorry, I was wrong. The problem is they're okay with all of that happening because pride is a MFer in this country. I'm just saying, you might want to start looking at the people that are around you because they're letting you know who they are.
I know, yeah, 100%. It's so clear, and everything they say, it's always projection. He's the worst of the worst. He's the waste, fraud, and abuse. It's so ridiculous. The Chris Christie, that's what you're worried about. And this is honestly, like, it makes me a little bit happy though, because Donald Trump got to be president again. He's stolen billions of dollars from his followers. He has everything, right? Does he? Chris Christie goes on TV, says something he doesn't like, he falls apart. That's what his life is, Donald Trump. It'll never be enough. He's always that close to a complete mental breakdown. All it takes is Chris Christie to trigger it.